Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and a very good evening to all of you. I hope you all are fine. So let's start today's lesson. So we are studying how to talk to anybody, and we are on the page number 66. So matching their mood can make or break the sale. Okay, just a second, let us start the dictionary first. And where is the dictionary? Okay, this is it. Okay, matching customers' mood is crucial for salesperson. Some years ago, I decided to throw a surprise party for my best friend Stella. It was going to be a triple whammy party. Because she was celebrating 3 events. 1, it was Stella's birthday. 2, she was newly engaged. And 3, Stella had just landed her dream job. She had been my buddy since grade school, and I was floating on air over her birthday engagement congratulations bash. I had heard one of the best French restaurants in town had an attractive back room for parties. About 5 p.m. one afternoon, I wafted happily into the restaurant and found a seated matrid languidly looking over his reservation book. I began excitedly babbling about Stella's triple whammy celebration and asked to see that fabulous back room I had heard so much about. Without a smile or moving muscle, he said, "The room is in the back. You can go see it if you like." Crash. What a party pooper. His morose. Okay, let's see morose. Morose means afsurda, bezar, rukha. So his morose mood kicked all the party spirit out of me, and I no longer wanted to rent his stupid space. Before I even looked at the room, he lost the rental. I left his restaurant, vowing to find a place where the management would at least appear to share the joy of the happy occasion. Every mother knows this instinctively. To quiet a whimpering infant, Mama doesn't just shake her finger and shout, "Quiet down." No, Mama picks baby up. Mama cries, oh, sympathetically, matching baby's misery for a few moments. Mama then gradually transitions the two of them into happy sounds. Your listeners are all big babies. Match their mood if you want them to stop crying, start buying, or otherwise come around to your way of thinking. So technique number 10, make a mood match. Before opening your mouth, take a voice sample of your listeners to detect his or her state of mind. Take a psychic photograph of the expression to see if your listener looks buoyant, bored, or blitzed. Okay, so there are 3 words. First is buoyant. So we have read this word, I think. Buoyant. Yes, khush, right? Khush dil. Okay, and blitzed. Okay, so blitz is yalgar, hamla karna, मतलब कि बिल्कुल यानी उलझा हुआ. Okay, just a second. Blitzed. Okay. So if you ever want to bring people around to your thoughts, you must match their mood and voice tone, if only for a moment. Okay, number 11, how to sound like you have got a super personality no matter what you are saying. Once while at a party, I spotted a fellow surrounded by fan club of avid listeners. The chap was smiling, gesticulating, and obviously enthralling his audience. I went over to hearken to his fascinating speaker. Hearken means, okay, just a second, sunnah. हेयरकन मुतवज्जे होना या करना, मुतवज्जे करना जैसे देखिए, जैसे सुनो तवज्जो से सुनना. Hearken. Okay, so what is its pronunciation?
Hearken. Hearken.
So,
Hearken.
hearken. So, hearken to this fascinating speaker. I joined his throng of admirers. Throng. What is throng? Throng. So, throng means hujum, majma, ijtima. So, where is that? I joined his throng of admirers and eavesdropped for a minute or two. Eavesdrop. Okay, again, the new word. Eavesdrop. So, listen without the speaker's knowledge. So, that is eavesdrop.
Eavesdrop. Eavesdrop.
Eavesdrop. Okay, so eavesdrop. Listen without the knowledge, without the speaker's knowledge. Okay, so the jealous man was eavesdropping on his wife's conversation. मतलब है कि पीछे से सुनना, कान लगा के सुनना, like ऐसे जैसे किसी को पता ना चले, right? So eavesdrop, yeah, that's a very good word. Eavesdropping. Why are you eavesdropping me? Our conversation. So eavesdropped for a minute or two. Suddenly it dawned on me. The fellow was saying the most banal things. His script was dull, but he was delivering his prosaic observations with such passions, and therefore he held the group spellbound. It convinced me that it is not all what you say, it's how you say it. Okay? So what is a good opening line when I meet people? I have often asked this question, and I give them the same answer a woman who once worked in my office always gave me. Dottie often stayed at her desk to work through lunch. Sometimes, as I was leaving for the sandwich shop, I would ask her, "Hey Dottie, what can I bring you for lunch? Bring you back for lunch?" Dottie, trying to be obliging, would say, "Oh, anything is fine with me." "No, Dottie," I wanted to scream. "Tell me what you want. Ham and cheese or rye? Bologna on whole wheat? Hold the mayo? Peanut butter and jelly with slices bananas? Be specific. Anything is a hassle." Hassle means any परेशान कौन, मुसीबत, हाँ यस, परेशानी. ये तो बहुत परेशानी की बात है कि भाई कुछ भी ले आओ. क्या मतलब है इसका? Frustrating though it may be, my answer to the opening line question is anything, because almost anything you say really is okay as long as it puts people at ease and sounds passionate. How do you put people at ease? By convincing them they are okay and that the two of you are similar. When you do that, you break down walls of fear, suspicion, and mistrust. Why banal makes a bond? Banal. What's it banal? Banal माने फरसूदा, घिसी पिटी चीज. Okay, so बार बार इस्तेमाल होने वाली चीज is called banal. So why banal makes a bond? Samuel A. Hayakawa was a college president, U.S. senator, and brilliant linguistic analyst of Japanese origin. He tells us this story that shows the value of, as he says, unoriginal remarks. In early 1943, after the attack of Pearl Harbor, at a time when there were rumors of Japanese spies, Hayakawa had to wait several hours in a railroad station in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. He noticed others waiting in the station were staring at him suspiciously. Because of the war, they were apprehensive about his presence. He later wrote, one couple with a small child was staring with special uneasiness and whispering to each other. So what did Hayakawa do? He made unoriginal remarks to see them at ease. He said to the husband that it was too bad the train should be late on so-called a night. The man agreed. I went on, Hayakawa wrote, to remark that it must be especially difficult to travel with a small child in winter when train schedules were so uncertain. Again, the husband agreed. I then asked the child's age and remarked that their child looked very big and strong for his age. Again agreement, this time with a slight smile. The tension was relaxing. After 2 or 3 more exchanges, the man asked Hayakawa, I hope you don't mind my bringing it up, but you are Japanese, aren't you? Do you think that Japs have any chance of winning this war? Well, Hayakawa replied, your guess is as good as mine. I don't know any more than I read in the newspapers. But the way I figure it, I don't see how the Japanese, with their lack of coal and steel and oil, can ever beat a powerfully industrialized nation like the United States. Hayakawa went on, my remarks was admittedly neither original nor well informed. Hundreds of radio commentators were saying much the same thing during those weeks, but just because they were, the remark sounded familiar and was on the right side so that it was easy to agree with. So the Wisconsin man agreed at once with what seemed like genuine relief. His next remark was, say, I hope your folks aren't over there while the war is going on? Yes, they are, Hayakawa replied. My father and mother and 2 young sisters are over there. Do you ever hear from them? The man asked. How can I? Hayakawa answered. Both the man and his wife looked troubled and sympathetic. Do you mean you won't be able to see them or hear from them until after the war is over? There was more to the conversation, but the result was, within 10 minutes, they had invited Hayakawa, whom they initially may have suspected was a Japanese spy, to visit them sometime in their city and have dinner in their home. And all because of this brilliant scholar's admittedly common and unoriginal small talk. Top communicators know the most soothing and appropriate first words should be, like Senator Hayakawa's, unoriginal, even banal. But not indifferent, Hayakawa delivered his sentiments with sincerity and passion. So, ascent from banality. It is not necessary, of course, to stay with the mundane remarks. Mundane. So, mundane means what? Again, we have read it and we forget it. Dunyavi.
Mundane.
Okay. So, where's that? Mundane. Okay, so with mundane remarks, if you find your company display cleverness or wit, you match that. The conversation that escalates naturally, compatibly, don't rush it, or like the mentions, you seem like you are showing off. The bottom line on your first words is to have the courage of your own treatiness. Because remember, people tune into your tone more than your text. Okay, so technique number 11, prosaic with passion. Prosaic. So what is prosaic?
Prosaic.
غیر دلچسپ, بے مزہ, بے لطف. Prosaic with passion. Okay, so بے لطف چیز بولنا لیکن passion کے ساتھ بولنا. Worried about your first words? Fear not, because 80% of your listeners' impression has nothing to do with your words anyway. Almost anything you say at first is fine, no matter how prosaic the text. An empathetic mood, a positive demeanor, and passionate delivery make you sound exciting. Anything except liverwurst. Back to Dottie waiting for her sandwich at her desk. Sometimes as I walked out the door, scratching my head, wondering what to bring her, she would call after me, anything except liverwurst. That is, thanks, Dottie, that is the little bit of help. So here is my anything except liverwurst, or small talk. Anything you say is fine as long as it is not complaining, rude, or unpleasant. If the first words out of your mouth are complaint, blame, people label you a complainer. Why? Because that complaint is your new acquaintance's 100% sampling of you as far. You could be the happiest Pollyanna or ever, but how will they know? If your first comment is a complaint, you are a gripper. Okay, what is this? This is not here. pakadna, you are a creeper, pakadna. If your first words are rude, you are a creep. If your first words are unpleasant, you are a stinker. Open and shut. Other than these donors, anything goes. Ask them where they are from, how they know the host of the party, where they bought the lovely suit they are wearing, or hundreds of etceteras. Okay? So the trick is to ask your prosaic question with passion to get the other person talking. Still feel a bit shaky on making the approach to strangers? Let's take a quick detour on our road to meaningful communicating. So detour. Detour, okay, sorry, this is detour. متبادل راستہ, ٹھیک ہے, راستہ بند ہونے کی صورت میں متبادل راستے کا استعمال کرنا. So take a quick detour on, okay, let's see the spelling. Detour. On our road, I will give you 3 quickie techniques to meet people at parties, then 9 more to talk small talk, not so small. Okay, so how to make people want to start a conversation with you. Singles proficient at meeting potential sweethearts without the benefit of introduction in the vernacular making a pickup have developed a deliciously devious technique that works equally well for a social or corporate networking purposes. The technique requires no exceptional skill on your part, only the courage to spot a simple visual prop called a what's it. What's it? A what's it is anything you wear or carry that is unusual, a unique pin, an interesting purse, or a strange tie, or an amusing hat. A what's it is any object that draws people's attention and inspires them to approach you and ask, what's that? Your what's it can be as subtle or overt as your personality and the occasion permit. I wear around my neck an outmoded pair of glasses that resembles a double monocle. Okay, so outmoded. What is outmoded? قدیم طرز کا. Okay, so outmoded is قدیم طرز کا, and monocle. So monocle is yakchashmi ainak. Often the curious have approached me at a gathering and asked, what's it? I explain it's a lorgnette left to me by my grandmother, which of course paved the way to discuss hatred of glasses, aging eyes, love over loss of grandmothers, adoration of antique jewelry, anything the inquisitor wants to take it. Perhaps unknowingly you have fallen prey to this soon to be legendary technique at a gathering. Have you ever noticed someone you would like to talk to? Then you have racked your brain to conjure an excuse to make the approach. What a bounty it was to discover that he or she was wearing some weird, wild, or wonderful something you could comment on. Okay, so the what's it way to love. Your what's it is a social aid, whether you seek business reward or new romance. My friend Alexander carries Greek worry beads with him wherever he goes. He is not worried. He knows any woman who wants to talk to him will come up and say, what's that? Think about it, gentlemen. Suppose you are at a party, an attractive woman spots you across the room. She wants to talk to you, but she is thinking, well, mister, you are attractive, but golly, what can I say to you? You are just an ain't got no what's it. Yes, be a what's it seeker too. So likewise, become proficient in scrutinizing the apparel of those you wish to approach. Why not express interest in the handkerchief in the tycoon's vest pocket? The brooch on the bosom of the rich divorcee. The brooch. What is this brooch? Balon ka clip. This brooch. What is the spelling? Sorry, pronunciation.
Brooch.
Brooch on the bosom of the rich divorcee, or the school ring on the finger of the CEO whose company you want to work for. The big spender who you suspect might buy 100 of your widget as a tiny golf club lapel pin. Say, excuse me, I couldn't help but notice your attractive lapel pin. Are you a golfer? Me too. What courses have you played? Your business cards and your WhatsApp are crucial socializing artifacts. Whether you are riding in the elevator, climbing the doorstep, or traversing the path to the party, make sure your WhatsApp is hanging out of all to see. Technique number 12. Always wear a WhatsApp. Whenever you go to gathering, wear or carry something unusual to give people who find you the delightful stranger across the crowded room an excuse to approach. Excuse me? I couldn't help but notice your... What is that? The next quickie technique was originated by doggedly determined politicians who don't let our portrait goer escape if they think or she could be helpful to their campaigns. I call it the who's at technique. Okay, so yes, we will read it tomorrow, inshallah. I think that's enough for today. Okay, thank you, jazakumullah khair, and please share it with others, and please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon, so that this community grows and grows and grows until we cover all over the world, inshallah. Yes, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.